What's up, guys? Today I'm going to talk about how to re-regulate your nervous system after it's been dysregulated. I guess recently, kind of like a year ago, I got back from just a really long-term period of intense, extreme stress. And I'll probably make a video about it more in depth one day. I'm not going to really get into that now, but pretty much I've learned recently that when you go through something that stressful for that long, pretty much you've heard of neuroplasticity, right? Your mind will literally change and your nervous system will like dysregulate and it will adapt so that it saves you from some of that negative emotion and that stress. But to do that, it brings the contrast of everything down. So it's like this is the joy up here and this is the stress. So it will flatten that, but it will also flatten your joy at the same time. And so that can leave you in a very bad spot. And that's where I was. I was always complaining, like, man, I feel like the world lost its color. I don't feel joy anymore. I don't feel excited about things. And so one day I was researching about this, and I came across this whole thing about how your nervous system can get dysregulated. Apparently, it's like a really well documented thing, but I'd never heard about it before in my life until this. But I poured over researching for like hours. I poured over like studies, articles, I don't know, whatever else is online that you call it that you study from. But it was like actual scientific studies about how people can get their nervous systems dysregulated. I got a book about it. I've been reading that. And pretty much it turns out that no matter how long it's been, since the stress, your nervous system will still be dysregulated unless you purposely retrain it to be regulated again, to be back to the normal state of calm and like flat, where you can still experience the highs and the lows instead of just like flat, which the flat sucks, let me tell you. So, I mean, this might not be like applicable for anyone, but if you ever find yourself in that situation, it's going to be helpful, trust me. So, there are a couple things you can do. And I mean, there's so many things that I researched that you can do, but I'm just going to give you a couple of the most effective ones that I think are actually the most effective. First one's breath work. I'm sure if you've been in like the self-improvement community, you've heard it mentioned, but when I first heard about it, I looked into trying to find out how to do it, and it was so vague. Like nobody actually just told you how to do this. It's like, oh yeah, just do breath work, and you look up how to do it, and it's like there's all these different methods and all these different versions, and you don't really know if the person who's telling you knows what you're talking about or if it's the right specific one for your situation. You just don't know. So what I found is this is like the basic attack. I don't really know much about breath work yet. This is like the basic, like level 1 breath work thing. It's called diaphragmatic breathing, and it's basically you just breathe through your belly with your diaphragm. And so yeah, essentially what I've been doing is 4 seconds in, you put one hand on your chest, one hand on your stomach, you breathe in through your stomach. And so your stomach should move, your chest shouldn't move. That's why your hands are there, to make sure that that doesn't happen. And so you sit there, breathe in 4 seconds through your stomach, out for 6 seconds. And then you do that for however long. Like I've been doing it for like 30 minutes because I've been trying to make progress really fast. But yeah, 30 minutes every day. And I found that after you do that for, I don't know, maybe 5-10 minutes, you know when you wake up from a nap and you're just super relaxed and you're like, you stretch and you're like, ah, man, that was a nice nap. That's how you feel. And I've come to notice that that is what it feels like when you're in it's called a parasympathetic nervous system state, your ventral nervous system state. And that's pretty much like your baseline. That's like the good spot you want to be. Parasympathetic is like really chill. It can also be like sad, but ventral is the one you want to be in. Anyway, it's like, it's relaxed. And so essentially to train your nervous system back to being at baseline, we need to get it into this relaxed state. And this is what breathwork does. It trains you to come back to that state. And so man, there's so much. You need vagal tone. So, man, this is going to be everywhere. But I guess, I don't know. This video is gonna be everywhere. So vagal tone is something that your vagus nerve can have. Your vagus nerve is a huge nerve. It runs down your neck. It runs down like throughout your whole body. It regulates. It's like this is what it means when your nervous system is dysregulated. Is your vagal tone is bad. Essentially, the strength of your vagal nerve, how quickly you can go from an activated state to a calm state again. So like if you get startled, does your heart beat for like fast for like an hour, or does it just go straight back to normal after it's like not a threat? And so essentially that's what we're training with breath work, is your ability to go back down to the calm state. And yeah, so you do that consistently. Obviously, everything that gives you results, you need to be doing it consistently. Another thing that is like amazing for this is ice baths. And ice baths, you think you're not really in necessarily that calm of a state unless you're like really experienced. But that's kind of the whole point. You want to go into this stressful situation. It's called a hormetic stressor. This stressful situation where your body's really, really cold. And normally your heart is going to be like beating fast. You're going to be like, oh no, I'm cold. Like this is a problem. But the key is to stay calm while you're in that ice bath. And so your heart's beating fast, and then after a couple seconds, you can calm it down and slow it down. And it pretty much teaches your body, hey, like this is a stressful situation, but I can still remain calm. We're not in danger. And so it strengthens your ability to go back and forth. That's also why contrast therapy is really good. If you've got like a hot tub or a sauna and an ice bath, or maybe at your gym you've got those things, whatever, you can go do that, and that's like the same thing, because the hot will like relax you, and then the cold will bring you back into like that heightened awareness, and it'll raise your heart rate and everything. And then yeah, saunas I guess are really good for that too, because the sauna, the extreme heat, it's like it raises your heart rate because your body's trying to like disperse the heat. So yeah, you can do that. That's good for, that's another one of those hormetic stressors. That's good for vagal tone as well. But ice baths and breath work, I think, are like the two most effective things that I've found. And I mean, there's a bunch of other things. I'll just rapid fire. You can run. Running is amazing, especially outside. Running with the light in your eyes, it does something for your dopamine. It will literally increase the number of, I think it's D3, maybe D2 receptors. That's dopamine. Pretty much, it makes you feel more motivated and feel more excited about things. Like you want to get things. You want to go out and do things with your life instead of just like sitting there being, whatever. Obviously, also resistance training or any sort of exercise is going to be good for that. Getting on a proper sleep schedule. If you're on like a consistent sleep schedule, that signals to your brain and your nervous system that you're safe, because your schedule is not being interrupted by anything. It's very just consistent, and so it's good for you. Plus, it's good for your circadian rhythm. You get better sleep anyway, so it's like you might as well just do it. So that's really important. Man, what else is there? Oh, something else that I've been doing. This is like sort of nervous system related. It's called mirror work. This is if you've been through like a really insane, stressful period in your life and you like don't really know who you are anymore. It's like you do something called mirror work, which is essentially you just look at yourself in the mirror and you try and rebuild that association with like this is me, and you have this relationship with yourself instead of just kind of like I don't know, you just don't really feel connected. You feel really disconnected. You don't feel connected and you feel disconnected. So that's not a good spot to be. So training that with mirror work, I haven't really experienced too many results from that, but I've also not been very consistent with it because I've been doing so many other habits to try to regulate my nervous system. Oh, also meditation. Meditation is sick. It's awesome for all kinds of things, but it's also really good for healing your nervous system. Now, real quick, I'll go over some benefits that I've noticed. Especially from ice baths, I feel very present after. Like I'll come out from being under the water, and it's like the world has more color. That's pretty cool. It's like I have the ability to perceive more information, and especially with consistent breath work, I attribute it to the breath work mostly, and also the ice baths. Where like I would be out and about just randomly, not even right after a session or anything, and I would just be able to perceive more information. Like the city lights, I was driving around a couple nights actually, and the city lights for some reason just looked so much more vivid, and I was like, whoa, this is sick. Like it's like somebody boosted the saturation. If you know what like anything about photography or anything, it's like somebody took the saturation and boosted it a couple points. Or like the contrast too. It's like I can just see more details. Like these things are more in focus. And so it's pretty cool. It's almost like, man, I can't believe I was living without that for so long. Yeah, that's really the main one I've noticed. Also, just the subtle ability to feel more joy and more excitement about things. So that's been a huge bonus. It's kind of hard to measure that because it's really gradual, and I've only been doing this for a month and some change. So it's supposed to take a couple months, which kind of sucks. I think one estimate said like 6 months, which I read that and I was like, ooh, ouch. But yeah, anyway, it's like, what can you do? Might as well start now, right? I think that's about everything for the summary that I was gonna give. Um, I'm sure I'll make more videos about this later, but yeah, if you want to regulate your nervous system, start with those things. Do some research yourself. Also, I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to say this is not medical advice. Forgot to say that in the beginning. It's not medical advice. Just just for informational, educational purposes only.